Hi, this is Brittney King.
And this is Lisset King, and welcome to Honest Feedback. We are a podcast here for you. We're here to answer any of your burning questions, anything that's heavy on your heart. You could give us a ring, and we will be your friends. We will listen, and we will answer from our hearts. And today, as always, we have my beautiful, wonderful wife, Goddess Brittney King. She's a pleasure priestess. She helps women go from numb to embodied using sensual movement and sacred ritual.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
And my amazing and talented wife, Lisset King, is an emotional ninja. Mm-hmm. She is a trainer and master practitioner of neurolinguistic programming, mental emotional release, and hypnotherapy.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Brittney, you got something awesome coming up soon. Do you want to, shall we tell the people?
Yes.
Let's
tell the people. I am inviting you, that's right, you, to come onto an amazing, epic, expansive, nourishing retreat outside of Puerto Vallarta. Full Body Yes is a retreat for women to say yes to themselves. Are you saying yes to nourishing food?
Yes.
And amazing women with deep conversation?
Always.
Ritual, sensual movement, expansion.
A full body yes.
Full body yes. This is about you saying yes to yourself,
Yes.
giving to yourself, and allowing yourself to have the most delicious, decadent, juicy, pussy wet kind of life.
Yeah. I
Yes.
love decadent. It's
Yes.
such a good word.
It is such a good word.
And if you have ever traveled with my wife, which I have a lot, decadent is the perfect adjective to describe it.
Oh, yeah.
We be living, it's just...
First class all the way.
First class.
Luxury accommodations. Like I checked on the luxury accommodations. Beauty everywhere we're going. It is sacred land with healing water, and you are invited. And this is happening next year, April 8th through the 12th, 5 days, 4 nights of all this juicy realness. So if you are interested, and I know that you are, schedule a call with me. Let's talk and see if this is in alignment for you.
Yeah. 2024. If you're listening to this way, way in the future, are we still here? And then the other question is, it's 2024. So
yes.
yeah, very exciting.
Thank you, babe.
Yeah. So what are we talking about today, Brittney?
Oh, something that I feel truly honored to speak about. I'm feeling anti-vibes.
Yeah.
Something that just is really near, but about having sex for the first time.
Yeah.
And all about that experience.
Yeah.
What do you want to share about that?
Oh my gosh.
I don't know if I want to ask too pointed of a question. I want to make sure this is a safe, brave space where you can share what you want to share about it. Like,
man, virginity was such an interesting thing in my childhood. Like there were a lot of women that were women. We were freaking teenagers, right?
Yeah. There were a lot of women.
There were a lot of women, these 14-year-olds, 16-year-olds. There were people in my grade that were losing their virginity, and it was like cool. Like they were like seen as like the cool girls. Like, oh, they've already had sex and blah, blah, blah. And so I thought I wanted to, have sex. And I'm like, but then also I was like really scared of pregnancy. Like super scared of pregnancy.
Did they show you those movies?
No, I actually watched my niece be born.
Oh,
yeah, that'll do it. That will do it. That
just
will.
Seeing someone come through.
I'm very. She hates this and she loves this, but my first image of my niece is this. Like I got to see her crowning and all. So I'm watching a child crown through my sister's portal, and I am like, nope, nah, man, I'm good. But I also like wanted to lose my virginity to be a cool kid,
Yes.
So what was your experience with your first time?
My first time. Well, this might be breaking news for all the people.
Yeah.
I would guess be considered a late in life person to have sex.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
Was it me? Was your body count 0?
Yes, I was a virgin when we met. No, but it was after I graduated college.
Wow.
Yeah, so
that is impressive.
I know. I do have to say on my end, it wasn't for lack of trying. It was very
Got it.
It very much felt like nothing was really aligning. And then like the people I liked, it felt like they didn't like me.
Yeah.
Now I realize I was purposely choosing people who didn't like me because I was secretly gay. You know, there was a lot going on. But I remember wanting to, and like there being this big story. And again, girls like in my high school, it's like, so-and-so lost her virginity and like she's cool and da-da-da and like it was like a status symbol. And I just remember feeling really overwhelmed, like why isn't this happening for me, and like is it ever gonna happen? And the big myth, I'm going to die a virgin.
I forgot about that one. Yeah.
An iconic line from Clueless. It's like, what do you know about anything? You're a virgin who can't drive.
Oh yeah.
It was such a bird. It was such a bird. And she was like, I am a virgin who can't drive. You know?
Yeah.
All I had was driving on my side. No.
There's just so much pressure to have sex like the first time, or not, or don't have pressure the first time because God, you know.
I know.
God be judging and you be sinning. You know, there's just so many.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's a tough one.
So I'm very excited to like get into this caller.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a writer. It's a writer this time.
We're gonna get into this writer's question.
Okay.
All right. But first, hit us with a like, a subscribe, a follow, a share. Every time you do that, you help this podcast grow and you help us get to more people, and we get to help more people. So we're all about that. We'll give you a moment to do that. Go ahead. Right now. We can wait. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
We so appreciate you. So shall we jump into this question?
Yes.
Yeah. All right, go ahead.
I'm reading it. Okay.
You're our designated question reader.
Okay.
Go.
Not yet a woman. She, her.
I love that.
Thank you, fellow Britney Spears fan. I know you're a real one. Thank you. This is such a beautiful and tender space to be in. And like, I just want to honor you and recognize you. I do want to let our listeners know we did reach out to this person and got a little bit more information, and that they have not had sex yet, and they haven't had a serious relationship yet. So just so we all have the lay of the land as we go in. What are your first initial thoughts?
My first initial thoughts are, I love that you have moved past the not doing it for religion's sake, and while still honoring that part of you that's like, I want to wait for love. Like I want it to be special. There's a lot of people who it just wasn't special. So I'm behind you creating the experience that you desire to have.
Yeah,
for sure. I remember my first time. I have a weird thing, and I apologize if my ex-boyfriend's listening to this, but I had an experience right before my back surgery. I had back surgery when I was 16, and I was afraid I might die a virgin. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I had that real deep fear.
It's like a deep fear.
It's like a deep fear.
I don't know where it comes from.
Yeah. It's just, I think it's like, it's in the zeitgeist, right? Like, no, do not die a virgin. But then also we're like, virgins are the ones that get sacrificed. Like, what?
Yeah.
Holler. So I don't know where the holler came from.
It's okay. All right, continuing your story.
Yeah. And so I was afraid I was going to die a virgin, or I was going to like end up paralyzed and I could never have sex again and all this stuff. So I had like this, it was this weird like chance that I might end up paralyzed because it was like a new surgery. So anyway, I was scared and I was shook, and I was casually seeing this boy who was not that into me at all. And it was very like abrupt and short, and it hurt. And I like stopped it because it didn't feel good. So like, I don't know, technically, like I got to say like, I lost my virginity. And then I watched my niece being born and I'm like, I'm good without that experience for a while. And then, so I like said I had my virginity when I dated like my first like serious boyfriend. So, I still feel like you're the first guy though. But technically I kind of lied about that. So I lost my virginity twice. Ish, you know, and like that guy was very special. He was so sweet. He loved me. I loved him. And it was all the things that the first one was not. So my first time was much better. And I dated that guy for a while and I really sincerely cared about him. But it was I had this dichotomy of like, I just wanted to get it over with. And also I wanted it to be special. So I somehow in a weird way gave myself both, but it's just so much pressure. It's a lot of pressure to put on yourself.
It is a lot of pressure. I remember just feeling very pressured because it was like, okay, this like didn't happen in high school. Great, I'm going to college. Then it's like, it's not happening in college. And it's like, fuck, I'm going to be some kind of weird person who just like hasn't had sex yet. And like, I'm a leper. They're going to shun me. Now it's weird. Other people are going to be like, well, I thought about having sex with you, but now that I know you've never had sex with anybody else, like, gross, you know? Like I had this thing. And so I literally like got back to LA from college and I was just like, well, I've always had a crush on my friend's brother and there's been a flirtation. I have his number. I'm just going to like make this happen. And I did. And it was not good. It wasn't good. Yeah. And I didn't tell him that I hadn't had sex before. So there was just like a lot of assumptions. And in the midst of it, it definitely crossed a boundary. And so we ventured into, I don't know if you call it like gentle assault territory, but
this episode will now have a trigger warning.
But it kind of transferred. Yeah. Let me just tell you, he up the butted me without consent.
On the first time?
I know. Oh. So it was not good. You know, he did stop when I told him to stop, but it was still, I felt violated. Yeah. So it wasn't a great experience. And I really had a lot of guilt and shame of like, I was berating myself so hard of like, there's something wrong with me because I haven't had sex. And then I did have sex and it really wasn't an experience that like I feel good about. So then it was just like, I felt shame and guilt on all sides of the situation. Yeah.
I'm sorry to hear that happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I've heard that before.
I know. Yeah.
It's never nice.
It's not nice.
Never a great story.
No, but you know what? Thinking about this, it also brings into my space of like, what does virginity mean to you? And what does sex mean to you? Yeah. Because in these instances, we're talking about penis and vagina sex. Yeah. And
P and the V.
Yeah. And sex can look so different for so many people. And I feel like there's an opportunity to expand our definition of what is sex and really sink into like, what would you consider sex for you? And how do you tune into and decide when would be the time that you wish to experience this?
I would say something that's coming through for me in like the meat of both of our stories is you don't have to rush it. You don't have to rush it for it to happen. Like I do believe there's a sweet spot in staying in communication. Like staying in the, hey, I like you. And I have not had this experience yet. And so I would like it to be gentle and I would like it, like, can we talk about it before it happens? And could we stay in communication while it's happening? Like knowing that the first yes is just the first yes. Like you have to stay in consent completely throughout the experience. And I think it's beautiful that you want to fall in love and if that's something that's special for your first time, hold on to that. Hold on to that. You don't have to rush and you don't have to, people will wait.
People will wait. I will tell you a waiting story and a love story.
Yeah.
So many of you have heard how Lisset and I fell in love in this hot tub in like sacred pools of water in Joshua Tree. And at the time we weren't dating. And we had like a very dropped in love experience. So then when we decided to start dating, which was like months later. Yeah, months later. It was like 2 months later. I don't know.
Yeah,
but it was a period of time later when we decided to date, we both leaned in with honesty and vulnerability. Let me use this to like my advantage. And so I was like, I want to show up differently in this relationship. I also was like, I just don't know where in the queerness I am. I might be like curious or like rest in pussy. I don't know, you know? And so I was just like, well, can we baby step this? And so we came to an agreement. We were like, we are going to wait.
Yeah, we're going to toddler step.
Yeah, we said we were going to toddler step and like wait and take our time before we led with sex. Can you share with me, because I'm blanking at the moment, what was your reason? Because I felt like it was a both and, like we both were like, yes, let's intentionally choose this waiting about this.
Yeah, so, you know, I had just had a history of also leading with sex. I think the word you used was weaponized sex.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Brittney was like, I sometimes weaponize sex. I'm like, well, let's not do that. And I too was in the habit of leading with sex with my partners. It's just like, well, I guess we're dating now, you know, instead of dating someone and getting to know them and really knowing that we wanted to be there. And so through sharing that vulnerability, we actually both went from the space of being hypersexual to slowing down so that we can create the space for love and intimacy.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful.
It was so beautiful. And we waited. I felt...
It felt like forever. It was like 6 years or 6 dates, but still 6 dates.
6 dates, like over the course of like 2 months or something like that.
Yeah. Which might be a short time to some and a long time for others.
Yeah.
Like there is not a standard by this by any means. Like there's not a right answer of how long you should wait or how many dates it should be. For me, and in that moment, I would say I handled it the best. I handled sex the best in my relationship with Brittney.
Same.
100%.
100%.
And now we have the relationship that we do. And so there's something to be said about meeting someone, caring about them enough to let something big and beautiful build inside so that the intimacy is that much more delightful when you make that moment.
Yes. I used to like feel like they were like old fuddy-duddies trying to, you know, keep me from my Sex in the City life, you know, when they're like, you should wait.
Did you just say old fuddy-duddies?
Yeah. Well, it was just like, I mean, my dad's a minister, like growing up like from a religious background, it was very much
that.
like, okay, I mean, like it wasn't like don't have, actually I kind of think it was like don't have sex. They don't, my dad's church, it wasn't very much like don't have sex until marriage. Like I don't remember that. And it wasn't like purity ring culture, but it very much was like sex is this gift, you know, and more of like a gift for men. And like, you should wait. You should wait.
You should keep that gift wrapped.
You should keep the gift
the right
wrapped.
man comes around.
Right. And so like there were like gentle conversations from my mom, like when I got to college about like protection and things like that. But all this to say, so I just felt like these people, they're trying to stop me from pleasure. Now, you know, deep down inside, I was never against pleasure. And I was just like, I feel like they're keeping something from me. And
they were. And they were 100%.
They were.
Sex is great.
Yes, they were keeping this thing from me for this reason that for me didn't resonate of like, it is for God or marriage or these other things that to me just didn't allow that. When I felt clear of like, oh, this is how I've been using sex in the past and this is how I wish to experience it differently, then it was like, oh, I got to be clear my own reasons of why I was waiting to have sex with this person. And we really got to know each other in this deeper way. And so the intimacy was sweeter and more open in this way that I wasn't tense and I wasn't in my head, and I was actually able to like be present and in the experience because I knew her and trusted her and I would say I loved you at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We loved each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was very dropped in. And I think what really rings true in that moment was that it was the most beautiful thing. It was so loving and precious. And when you are with the best person for you to have that experience, you'll know it. You'll feel it. You'll feel the sense of respect. They'll be willing to wait. Anyone who's trying to rush you, it's not. No, we're not doing that.
No.
It's fucking 2023. We're not doing that.
No, we're not.
We're
And
not being rushed these days.
I just want to put something else into the space too, because you mentioned like in movies and in shows, it's like weird if you're not having sex with people, and like that's just not true. Sexuality and sexual desire, like these are huge spectrums, and something that I'm really grateful for is like now people are talking about feeling asexual. Other people are talking about, hey, I actually only feel sexual attraction when I'm feeling mentally stimulated and emotionally connected. Like not everyone is that, oh, this person's hot. Now I'm having an experience in my body and I want to like act on it with them the way that we see in movies. And I've had so many experiences where I've met people and I'm like, oh, I'm not super attracted to you. And then I start to get to know them and the attraction builds, and like there's desire, or sometimes there's not. Or sometimes, you know, someone starts talking, you're like,
Stop talking. Stop talking.
I definitely don't want to sleep with you.
I did.
No, but there's just
But now
there's
I
just so much more nuance. And so I just wanted to normalize, like, you can be in a loving and healthy relationship and aren't having sex for reasons that you guys choose to not have sex. And one of those could be, we don't have the desire.
Yeah.
And that is okay.
Yeah, there's what I really want to like drive home is like there's no right way to do this, and as Brittney would lead us is like be led by your pleasure and be led by your joy. Like have that experience when it feels like it would be the truly most joyful experience, not as something that you want to get over with, you know, or something that you need to do to, as I did, like I just wanted to like keep up with my friends, you know, and not feel like an outsider. And man, like sex is like, I don't think it ever got uncomplicated. You know, like there was from the moment it started, and you know, honestly, I came from a lot of trauma in my childhood, and so how I acted in sex was very much from a space of like, well, I don't want this person to take from me, so I'm going to volunteer my sex so they can't take it from me, and that is just a trauma response. And so you know, it caused and created, as the kids call, a higher body count than some might say, you know, just because I was like, well, if you're interested in me, and that's enough, you know. And as I started to truly fall in love with myself and respect myself, I made sex be important to me and my joy and my pleasure and my participation in it. And so as I matured and found that self-love was when I found my way to share that experience with people in a way that lights me up.
Yes, that's so beautiful. Yeah, everyone's path is different, and something that has become clear on my path is as I've matured and just become more in love with myself and who I am and accepting in all of myself, I have a greater amount of discernment for energy. And something that we don't talk about a lot is sex is like a highly energetic experience. You're literally mixing your energy with someone else. And so as I've become more mature and more discerning, now I'm at the space where I'm like, you gotta be at least this awesome to get on this ride. And if your energy is not correct, you are not allowed near the princess. So, and that's just me. Everybody's different, but it is something that has felt so good for me to honor within myself of like, hey, I might like this person and there's some energetic messiness that I just don't want to I just don't want it in my pussy. Like we keep a drama-free zone over here and like the victim stories and all these other, like there's certain things where I'm just like, yeah, that's just not happening here. And I've gotten solid on that boundary for myself from a place of loving myself and honoring myself. And so I love that you wish to be in love with the person you want to have sex with. And are you in love with yourself? Are you honoring yourself? Like what feels loving to you? What kind of energies, what kind of relationships, what kind of ways of being treated do you wish to cultivate in your life that would allow you to feel loved by another person?
Damn, church.
Yeah.
Church. Yeah. And I'm just really excited for you on this path. Like in general, I think it's wonderful that you're breaking away from this idealism of what it's supposed to be, whether that's waiting for marriage or doing it in the first few dates. Like your question presupposes that you don't want to do the status quo.
Yeah.
And that in itself is just a beautiful thing. So continue to discover and explore and be like, what do I want sex to be like? Like maybe I don't know it yet because I haven't had the experience, but what energetic field, what kind of connection would I want to have with the partner that I have this experience with? Because that you can set the stage for. And the rest can be all like magic and fun and rainbows when you've already like set the stage of what that delicious partnership would feel like.
I love it. Yes. I feel like I set that in my magic list when I was calling in partnership. I definitely was like the kind of intimacy that I wanted to create, you know, was all the things. Yeah. And then I got to experience it. And it was like, when we got to the point of like being physically intimate, all of a sudden it was like everything's in stereo in this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amplified.
Yeah. It amplified it. And then now I feel like there's so many amplifications that have nothing to do with sex of the intimacy, but it's just like, oh, it just keeps getting deeper and more delicious. And I'm very excited.
Yeah. It's good. Sex is fun.
Yeah.
It's super, it's great. It's a great experience. And that's why people like doing it. It's why there's so many of us around.
I do have to say, I feel like sex has gotten better in my experience the more I've been honest with myself about things that I like and things that I want and knowing myself. Because for a long time, I was sleeping with people and feeling deeply unsatisfied. And I felt like that was something that nobody was talking about. Yeah. People were like, well, you had sex with this person and like everything's great. And it was just like, I felt like I was in the desert still starving and people were handing me water and it was just sand, you know? Like it was just like...
Damn. I'm so sorry you went through that.
Well, it was just like, I just was not feeling satisfied. And so it's a both and. Yeah. Sex can be great. I just also want to normalize if you're having sex and you're like, it's okay. I don't understand why people are stealing money or murdering people about it. Yeah. Like, you know, feel you. I was just like, I just don't understand what the big hype was. And then it was like, oh, I'm queer. But like
and now you understand why people be stealing money.
I do. Now it has a point of reference of like, well, now it's so good I can understand. You know, there's a song I think it's like by Metro Boomin. It's called like So Good. It's like, if I could quit my job and fuck you all day, I would.
Yeah.
And I understood the song. When I understood the song, I was like, yeah, I should quit my job. And I did.
And then she did.
And then I did.
Have the kind of sex that makes you quit your life.
And get a better one.
And get a
better one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's, I want to say it can be great. Mm-hmm. And so if it's not great, it's okay to like acknowledge that. Mm-hmm. It's absolutely okay to not acknowledge that. And my first time wasn't great.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like it's helpful to be like, what are things that would make you feel like something feels great or in alignment? Like maybe it's consent, respect, love, trust,
connection,
safety,
eye contact.
Yeah.
Know my name.
Yeah. These are some of the At one point, I had a little list of like people I've slept with. And then when I got to a person where I was like, I know where this happened, but I don't know their name. I was like, I'm done with this list.
Yeah.
I'm done with this. I'm not writing down any more names.
Yeah.
Or not names.
I used to keep a list.
You do? Do you still have it?
Oh, no. There comes a point when we need no evidence.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just going to leave that at that. Keeping a list is silly. Unless you're into it. Yeah. I feel like this show has gone off the rails.
I feel in the space of like just euphoria because it's just such a nuanced conversation and like there's space for everyone at the table, and I'm here for you having a beautiful, loving time, for feeling connected to yourself and whatever feels beautiful and loving to you, honoring that. And I'm so happy that you reached out to us for support and validation of like, yes, your feelings are absolutely valid. Yes, there are people waiting to have sex. Yes, there are people in loving relationships who are not having sex and they are romantic and they're happy. You can do what you want. It's just all about creating what you want.
And you're the only judge. You can judge. You're the only one who can judge if you feel in love and what's too early. There is no standard of too early. You can fall. There is love at first sight. I mean, I was in love with her at first sight. It took her a few months, but there is such like you might feel so enamored with someone and then dive right in, or it could be a really super slow burn and then you're in love. And so early on it's up to you.
Yeah.
It's up to you. But you already have the most beautiful attitude about this, like just wanting what you want. And we're big on getting what you want.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, that was fun. Aunties.
That was fun. I love getting to go down memory lane.
Yeah.
And share about it.
Some memories just feel like they should stay locked away. But yeah, it was fun.
You help people release the locked away memories so that we can live and love our life of purpose.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Every step on my path has gotten me to where I want. And so, you know, some have darker chapters than others, but I'm here. I'm living in the light. We're thriving.
Yeah, we are thriving. So this is our story. This is our path, and we're just sharing it. And if you have a question, you can give us a call at 971-895-4111 or slide into our DMs at Honest Feedback Podcast on Instagram.
And we are going to be taking a little holiday hiatus.
And we'll be coming back with a new season after the new year. We've got a lot of fun, magical things. We're creating retreats. We're having a big old wedding party. And so we're going to take a little time to reflect on that. But we'll be back soon. Hit us with your questions, and we look forward to serving you.
And in the meantime, be honest with each other.
Yeah.